Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PoGo.
It's PoGo! PoGo! It's PoGo! PoGo! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PoGo! PoGo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PoGo. I'm your host for this episode, Clod 9, here with our spooky co-hosts for this evening. We have the one and only Lord Jushiro.
In dark corners of Lavender Town, voices say, some say, it's Lord Jushiro. Happy Halloween, everyone.
And we have the, Bosaphus with the most of us.
Thank you for having me, Claude.
Of course, as you can tell, we are without our fearless leader, Thatch, this week, which means we get to go a little bit more...
What happened to him? Maybe the ghost got him.
So we get to be a little more off the rails, and we're here to do a spooky episode, to celebrate Halloween that's happening. What happened to Thatch? Who knows? Will he be back? Probably. But anyways, tell me, what have y'all been up to in the wonderful world of Pokemon?
Honestly, a lot. I've been playing Crystal, as I mentioned before. I haven't finished it. Yeah, I'm taking my sweet time because that was for years, I've always said that Generation 2 was my favorite generation. But I haven't gone back to it in a while, and having gone back to the original, I mean, it's Crystal, technically, it's not the original. It's not Gold and Silver, but it's still, from that generation. We're close enough, and oh my god, it's such a great game. Like, I haven't even left Johto. I could have fought the Elite Four, but I want to make sure that I go back, get the perfect team I want to go through the Elite Four in Kanto with. It's such a great game. And on top of that, I've also been watching a lot of Horizons. Also, great anime, man. I don't miss Ash. So leave it at that. So yeah, lots of Crystal, lots of Pokemon Horizon. It's been a fun month for me in Pokemon wise.
Nice.
Did you do the Badge Bonanza for Crystal or no?
No, I missed it.
Okay. Because that I know was last month. We were doing Crystal.
Right? Yeah. No, it's completely a coincidence that I started playing Crystal. I didn't know Thatch was doing that.
Yeah, awesome. That's super cool. I just played it last month for Badge Bonanza, and I loved going through Crystal. Yeah, it was such a nice nostalgia trip for me. I'm like, oh, I get to go back and play through the game and remember all the fun parts and how much I still randomly remember. It's like, oh, this is this trainer. And, I remember their name, their team, and everything about it. And I'm like, wow, do I still know all this information?
Yeah.
Yep. And
no soundtrack will make me feel like home, like Gold, Silver, Crystal. Like, you can put that original soundtrack on and I'm just like, I just feel like I'm back at home. Like, I'm a kid again. I love those games.
The amount of times I listen to, the Johto Reorchestrated.
Oh, yeah.
Is way too much.
Yeah.
God, I have to download that again.
So many bangers in that one. National Park, Ecruteak City. Yeah.
It's really a gem of a generation.
Mm-hmm. It had everything I think we wanted in a Pokemon game to begin with.
And we didn't even know at that point what we wanted.
Exactly.
It was just the second game, and they overindulge us so much that to this day we've been craving 2 regions in one game. All the things that Crystal, the calendar and the daily events and stuff like that. All the things that they gave us in Generation 2, we're still craving for them to be, the just set in stone in all games because of how good that generation was.
Well, even if you look to the remakes, with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they added so much to an already great region and game. It's like, how long have we been asking for Pokemon to follow us again? Mm-hmm. Something simple like that, probably takes a lot more effort and work than we realize, but still.
Especially now, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now. What about you, Bosaphus? What have you been up to?
Not a ton, honestly. I log in and get my dailies in Unite every day, but I haven't been playing a whole lot of games.
Oh, nice.
I started The Real EV challenged me to do an art contest, or not contest, but just like one of those art challenges on Facebook. And I haven't posted any of them because I'm very embarrassed because I don't do art and I've not drawn since like high school. But I have been doodling some like dark and ghost and bug type Pokemon for the challenge, and that's been kind of fun. I mean, they're all like terrible doodles.
You should definitely post that in the art chat.
Okay. I think I might.
Or at the end of it, you can do like one big...
Yeah, the ones that I feel okay about, I will. Some of them are, like, I do most of them from memory, and so they look like an 8-year-old drew them. But anyway, it's fun for me. Yeah, now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, there's all this other stuff that I want to try. I realized, like, in my late 20s, I was like, gosh, life is over. There's nothing else. And now I'm in my early 30s, and I'm like a freshman again. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a young 30-year-old. I can do anything. So, I don't know.
Oh, trust me, I know the feeling.
Right. Anyway. Yeah, that's mostly been it, but I'm also caught up on Horizons and, just little stuff.
Yeah, I just caught up on it last night. Like, I finished the last one that's on Netflix before we get to part 4, which comes out November 22nd, which I'll probably bring up in the news as well.
Yeah, the original plan was to make this an anime episode, but I didn't catch up in time. I left off at Lapras, I was mentioning to Claude, but overall, Horizon has been amazing. Like, such a great show.
I will say this about Horizons, because like you said, I don't necessarily miss Ash, but Liko is not my favorite character ever, and I could do without constant internal dialogue.
Yeah, she is a little bit, yeah, and high emotion. I do like though that internal dialogue that she has is mentioned in the show. Like, you should stop doing that. You should stop overthinking stuff. Like, it is considered like one of her challenges as a person, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
that she overthinks too much and that she's way too like, oh, let them win, and like, no, girl, you gotta be tough.
For sure.
You know, you gotta do that. But yeah, she does have a lot of internal. But at the other side, the kid, which I forgot his name,
Roy.
has nothing going up on there.
Oh, and I love Roy.
Yeah, Roy, yeah.
Roy is such a good character.
Him and Fuecoco just make me laugh
Yep.
so much. Like,
It's just, there's nothing going up there and you love it.
there's so much more personality, I feel like, in the Pokemon
Yes.
than there were beforehand. And that's the thing I think I was missing. Because with Ash's storyline, it was always, get the badges, win the fights, win the championship. Do the thing. I like how this has, been a different type of a serial-esque show where every episode is pushing towards, a final goal of something.
Right.
But there's room for more filler, and the filler doesn't feel like complete filler. It's a lot more like character growth and character development than it is like a true, all right, well, this episode doesn't matter.
Well, there's so many more characters with different goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And backstories.
Yes. And it's not just like, we're all kids, we all met, we're all doing the same thing. I want to do badges, I want to do contests. It's all like the same thing versus like, all the adults I really like. And what is it name?
Yes.
Freeze I like a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Freeze is incredible. Like, every time I watch the show with my wife, she's like, I normally hate Pikachu, but I love Cap. Cap is my
Oh my
favorite.
gosh.
Yeah.
Captain Pikachu is the GOAT, man. I love him.
Captain Pikachu over Ash Pikachu. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it.
I agree.
I'm saying it
I
here.
Thunder Punch.
completely agree.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
His Thunder Punch
He's
is
a
I just love
badass.
so badass.
And, like, I really like the evil group in this.
Yes.
They feel evil.
Yes. Like, they're all feel more sinister, and they're not weak. Like,
They're not pushovers.
even in the first couple of, like, episodes, like, you see, like, them fight and struggle. Like, it's like, all right, cool. This is a true, like, it feels like a standoff almost between the two. And I really appreciate how all of that goes.
Yeah.
But let's cut this off here. I think this is a good point to stop with for the intro. Otherwise, we'll talk about this for the next, like, 30 minutes and we'll not get to the rest of the show.
I think we all want to talk a little bit about it, though, so.
Of course. And that's why we're doing it here. But, all right. Then I will catch y'all over at the news.
Cha-cha-cha.
Live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
And we are back. Thank you for that epic music. We are here with the news. In this week's Pokemon news, we actually have news this week, which is kind of cool. Pokemon TCG Pocket gets released this week, probably Wednesday night for America.
Oh my god, I've been waiting for it so hard.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. It seems like a fun little, like, game to collect or battle or whatever they do.
I don't even know if it has a battle mechanic. I just love how nice the camera looks.
You definitely can. I know I've seen people battling, or, you know, the trading card game with the modified.
Is it like a shorter matches, which is my biggest thing with right now with Pokemon.
Yeah.
I can't with the 40-minute matches.
So it's you get an energy reserve. So every turn you can attach an energy to one of your Pokemon without having to have cards in your deck.
Nice.
Oh.
And I think it's only 3 prizes too.
Ooh, I like these. Okay.
From what I've heard is that it's not the best game because a lot of it, like the best deck relies entirely on coin flips.
Right.
Where it's like if you hit 2 coin flips, you win the game. If you miss 2 coin flips, you lose.
I kind of like
It's one of those things where
it sounds like the first stage of the Pokemon TCG back in the day.
Correct. Some things clearly weren't tested from what I was hearing, but otherwise, like, some of it looks incredible, and there's a lot you can do. Like, so I'm hopeful, and I'm excited to try it out.
Yeah.
Also, there is a free Halloween themed license in Unite that will last until the end of November. Code is PokeWeen24. So make sure to put in that code and grab a Halloween themed license.
Rad.
Woo! Well, back in Scarlet and Violet, we got the Halloween event. Runs Monday through Thursday. There's a handful of Ghost Pokemon outbreaks and 5-star Gengar raids, which is always enjoyed. Everyone's favorite first-generation Ghost.
And only first generation Ghost.
Well, yeah.
Everyone's favorite and only option.
Only. So, and then in Go, we also have the Halloween event part 2, which runs from the 28th, which is when this episode comes out, and through the 3rd, and adds G-Max Gengar to the game. The costume Froakie and Rowlet will also be a spotlight hour, 6 p.m. locally on the 29th, according to the Korean page. So we haven't had that confirmed in the US, but I assume that Go events are pretty universal, global. So it shouldn't be any different from the American one.
Yep, they're pretty global for the most part. In the TCG, the Paldean starters and Terapagos are getting Horizon stamped promos starting at November 8th with $15 purchases.
Oof.
I'm assuming that's at GameStop. Oh, they're all at different places. Green Litten's going to be at GameStop.
Oh.
Fuecoco at Best Buy, and the Duck at the Pokemon Center. And Terapagos will be available at all 3 locations. If you don't live near a Pokemon Center, you can get Sprigatito and Fuecoco.
Yeah.
TCG Live has Halloween login bonuses until the end of the month. And Puckle's Badge Bonanza is Gen 4 Nuzlocke starting next month. I'm going to do that one. That sounds fun.
Yes. I've already started mine because I decided, I'm going to play, one of the hardest Gen 4 Nuzlocks because I'm nuts and silly. And I've been streaming all of that on Twitch. So if you want to catch some of the Pokemon Renegade Platinum Nuzlocke that I'm attempting to do, I will be much more live in November and try and get it done. We are in the middle of attempt 1 now, and we had a very unlucky streak that led to a bunch of deaths, and now we're trying to recover. So we're going to see what happens. Probably this week I'll go live at least once. But come November, I'm going to try and be more active and see if I can get it done, because it's a long game, it's very hard, and I want to this is my challenge to myself for it. I've been doing all the Puckle Badge Bonanzas, and I'm having so much fun. Like, this is the most fun I've had playing Pokemon in years.
That's awesome.
I just love the, every month it's something different, and, we're all trying to do it together. Like, for October, it took me about 2 weeks, but I, got to Master Ball in VGC using a Furret team, because that's silly and dumb, and I had to do it.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
On brand for you, too.
And that's the beauty of Pokemon.
It is very much on brand for me. It's at any time I can make a challenge where I can use Furret. Like, for the last month when we did Crystal, I ran through Crystal with just Furret. It was the mono Furret run, and it was wonderful. And unfortunately, there's no Furret TCG card that is legal. Otherwise, I would be making that whatever the goal. I know TCG is for December something, so
yeah.
I would have had to do it.
Maybe I don't know if one's if a Furret's in the November set or not. Probably not.
I don't think so. They don't tend to like to give my boy much love, but here he is, and he will be my friend. Anyways, Wo Qian's News Corner. News brought at a snail's pace, which is actually, fine. Because right now we're getting some more and more news, and for those that, I'm not sure if they brought it up last week, but there was a giant leak of a lot of the older games and betas that came out, so there's stuff coming out from that. I know Pokemon made a statement about it.
Talk about scary stuff.
Yeah.
If you just
some of the things
just take it at face value, like the same thing as like the Space Center leaks and stuff like that, where it's just cut content. It's just fun to look at. Like, that is super fun. Everybody going like, they ruined my boy, Typhlosion. Like, that's ridiculous. It's cut content, and I don't know. Yeah. It's super fun to look at, but there's nothing like to report. You know what I mean? Like, there's no news because nothing is new. It's all old stuff. I mean, there could be leaks, but
I think the biggest thing that I'm excited for is that since the source code was revealed for a lot of it, it gives the opportunity for people to modify things and make more creative, ROM hacks for the future. Is what my thought process is. It's like, they might be able to do something fun with this. But granted, I don't know. That's not the space I live in.
I mean, if they can find a ROM the way Nintendo's going on.
Yeah.
In the future, there might not be any ROMs to search for.
They secure everybody's data. Like, or at least make sure everybody is safe from that, because that was the terrible part, was everybody's personal information got leaked also.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, that 10 years ago this week, Pokemon X and Y had the Trick or Treat Friendly, which was a mono ghost type event that required a supersized Gourgeist. TCG came to the 3DS Virtual Console, the ORAS demo was released, and Mewtwo was announced as a free Smash DLC character if you bought both the 3DS and Wii U, I think, games. So, those are things that just happened in the past.
That Trick or Treat Friendly with the supersized Gourgeist, because I was breeding for a long time and I kept getting like my perfect IV Pumpkaboos not at the max size, and all my max size ones were always trash, and I was like, this is stupid. But anyway, that was a super fun event. They should do that again.
I wish they made it easier to figure out the size, or to change the size of your Gourgeist.
Well, XY, that was the generation it came out in, so there was no way to change it.
Yeah, I know, but even going forward, there's no way to determine, I don't think, the size of your Gourgeist. I wish there was a way if you breed it with this item, it guarantees this size.
That would make sense.
Right. Like feeding it baby formula so it's big and fat.
Exactly, or, I wish there was a way to influence it, because that's not something that exists. It's the only Pokemon that's like that with size, I think, that actually has different stats based on its size.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
But, alright, so Buckle's Poke Opinion, are you planning on giving TCG Pocket a try?
Yeah.
I definitely am going to.
It's free.
Heck yes.
And it is free. Like all good mobile games, I'm sure there will be microtransactions.
It's free to play, yeah.
But you can definitely play it for free, and you should. It'll be a good time.
I hope they want to take my money, because to this day, I haven't ever figured out how Pokemon, was it Pokemon Legends? I forgot the name of it. The other Pokemon
Masters
app game. Masters will not take my credit card or my debit card at all. And I'm like, I just want to give you like $10, $20 because I enjoy the game. And I always, if I enjoy a game, I put some money in it, not much. And it would not. I don't know what's going on. It's an error constantly. But yeah, I hope Pocket TCG would actually want my money this time.
I hope so too. I'm hoping it can be free enough where I don't have to. But then again, I'm like, I'm willing to sit and, log in every day to open a free pack if they give us a free pack a day. And I'm like, oh, great. I can do this for a while. And
for sure. I'm the same way with those games. I'm with you also, Jushiro, to where if I play a game long enough and I put enough time in, at a certain point, I feel like, okay, I owe you a few dollars because I've put 200 hours into this game. And then usually at that point also I'm like, well, I would also benefit from spending the money in the game. So let's go ahead and do it. I see that a lot of times.
Yeah. Now, I do not encourage anyone to become a whale, as they call it. Those
no.
Video games depend on whales, which is people that spend horrendous amounts of money on those games when they really shouldn't. But if you're enjoying a game where you're playing a lot of it, $10, $5, $20 here, if you can afford it and it doesn't at all, mess up with your finances, why not?
I've spent $60 on a game that I put 10 hours into, right. So, free to play game that I put,
Exactly.
All right, I can spend a few bucks.
That's 100% right.
That's where I do boy math, and I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna buy a $60 game, I need to spend like
that's exactly
60
how
hours
I do
playing
it. Yes.
Yep. My boy math is like it's $80. I can play a game and a DLC with that.
Or I could go to an X for 3 hours.
I'm like, I have to make sure I'm getting all of the time into it. And it's like, all right, great. Then there's like, some games where I'm like, okay, cool. I bought this for $40 and I've put in 100 hours. I have clearly made my money. We're fine. Like, where do you value time versus entertainment value?
Buying furniture with my wife, it's always hard because she's like, how about this couch? And I'm like, I don't know. I can buy 2 Switch with that. I know my finances, how many Switches I can buy with that amount.
That is boy math hard.
That's boy math.
That is boy math.
All right, I think that's a great place to end it. Up next, we are going to quiz your co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Well, hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
And we are back with our Poke Quiz, testing your insane Pokemon knowledge. Are y'all ready for some trivia?
I was born ready.
Okay, great. So, this first question comes from Batista. What generation had the same number of Pokemon and moves?
What generation had the same number of Pokemon and moves?
Yes. So the same number of different possible move choices that you had is equal to the same number of Pokemon that were in that generation.
Hold up. Not Pokemon introduced and moves introduced.
Pokemon in.
But literal Pokemon in the game and moves.
Total.
In the game.
Correct.
Well, that's harder than what I thought the question was.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, I feel like it's got to be early, right?
You would think. It does give me Generation 3.
I was thinking Gen 3 as well.
But I don't know. We've had Pokemon games with 200 and something moves, so it could be something later on.
Right. Well, I feel like Gen 1 is out only because you're arguing whether it's 150 and 151. But yeah, it also,
Yeah, no, it had only 50 TMs, and then I don't think there's many moves.
Wait a minute. Is this including is this the national dex, or is this Pokemon available?
Yes, national dex. So, for example, it'd be 151 Pokemon
question.
from Gen 1 and 151 moves. Is that the right answer? Or is it Gen 2 with 251 and 251 moves?
Or Gen 5 with 649?
Yeah, it's only going to keep going up.
Yeah. Gen 3 is 386. 4. Man. I don't think it's 493. Like in Generation 4, I think that's too many.
Yeah, I think it's Gen 3 or Gen 2.
I think so as well.
And I don't know which one.
What Crystal seems to be a theme for today. We could go for that based on...
Let's go with Gen 2
Want?
then,
Yeah, I want it to be Gen 2. Let's do that. Gen 2.
Let's do that.
Is that your final answer?
Locked in.
Yes.
Gen 2 is correct with 251.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's a really fun piece of trivia where, at that time there were 251 Pokemon that could be in the game, and there were only 251 moves to
That's
choose
great.
from. That's fun.
That is fun.
All right. On to your next question. This is fun. This one comes from Liger. How many Pokemon only have one syllable in their English name?
That's hard. Muck is one.
Muck is one.
That is correct. Muck is one.
How does it say how many? Or that's the
It does.
that's the question.
I do have both the list of how many and what, but I'm asking how many, and I will give you a plus or minus like 2.
Okay.
Can't think of a single one other than Muck.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Let's see. I will give you. Oh, I can't give you. I was going to say, there's this many from these generations, but you that you can just add up the numbers at that point.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking.
There are Pokemon from Gen 1, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7,
so
Gen 9.
many of them, and we can only remember Muck.
Oh my gosh. Single syllable names?
Single syllable.
Single syllable.
I'm going through my mind and it doesn't seem.
Skrelp.
That is also one. I will give that to you.
I'm just like, what even are there?
Okay, you've gotten 2 so far, but I mean, like, you don't need to name them all. I just will eventually need a number.
Right.
We get.
Oh, it's the number that we're looking for. Oh, snap.
Yes.
Wait, what are what Pokemon are from which generations?
I see 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9.
Okay, so that's a minimum of 7, Jushiro. We get it.
No 7, no 2.
It's a minimum because that's how many generations he listed. So it's a minimum of 7.
Yep.
We get a plus or minus 2.
At least,
so if we answer 9, we know we're at least hitting the minimum, and we might hit the ballpark with it. I'm just trying to meta. We could also go one above, assuming that one of those generations has one more. So we could say 10. Right. Do you want to say 10?
Let's go with 10.
But before you give your answer, I want you just to think about Generation 1 and just run through some of the Pokemon that are in Gen 1.
Okay. That's a good exercise. So we said Muck. None of the starters is one syllable. Rattata.
Oh.
It's definitely not it.
I just remembered Clink and Clang.
Oh, yeah.
You did remember Clink. That is not Gen 1, but those are one-syllable Pokemon.
I was thinking of evolutionary lines because I was thinking like, well, it would make sense if it was a dink,
Mew.
Dink.
How we not forget about Mew?
Mew, okay.
There
Mew
we
is
go.
just like Muck.
That was the one I wanted to make sure you got. Because I'm like, that should be an easy one to think about.
Yeah, Mew.
Well, I was running through the Pokedex. I wouldn't get there till the end. Claude, thanks. You just said go backwards to the Pokedex.
There's others you can hit, but...
Okay. With Clink and Clang, Mew and Muck, we know there's a minimum of 9. Minimum of 9. Yep. So 11 is the lowest answer we should answer. I think we should bump it up to 12. Maybe 13 to be safe, but I think 12 is solid. And then if it's 14, if it's more than that, I need you to run through the whole list with me.
Let's go with 12. I like 12 is one of my favorite numbers, so let's do it.
I was born.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 12 is a little short. The number we were looking for is 16.
Oh!
I don't believe.
Now you have to mention them.
Here is the list.
Okay.
Gloom.
Stupid.
Seal.
Oh my god!
Buck,
Gloom.
Jinx.
Stupid.
Mew.
Oh.
I was trying to think of Gen 1 because Gen 1 had 5, and I think that's the most. You have Ralts, Spoink,
Ah!
Spheal, Shinx, Throw and Sock, Cling and Clang, Skrelp, Snom, and Cloth.
It's such a great question, and so many we missed.
Who did this? Who was this question?
Liger.
Hey, Liger.
We're coming
Hey,
off
Liger.
Yep.
That's a good question. That was a good question.
It was a good question.
I don't like you anymore, but that was a good question. Just kidding.
He was going to make it we're going to put it as a multi-question answer, but there's way too many.
Yeah.
And that's more scary than just giving a number.
Because, like, I'm thinking of short
Considering we
names.
only remember 2 of them from Gen 1, yeah, that's definitely harder.
All right, up next is your Pokedex entry question. And this one comes from the Patron Saint. Its Brilliant Diamond Pokedex entry reads, Tempered underground, under high pressure and heat. Its body is harder than any metal. Who's that Pokemon?
Tempered underground with high temperature and heat. It's harder than any
Under high pressure
and heat. Temperature and heat are the same thing. Pressure and heat. Its skin is harder than any metal.
Its body is harder than any metal. Who's that Pokemon?
Its body is harder than any metal. I mean, I want to say things like Steelix or...
That's the Pokemon that I was thinking of, Steelix, because he borrows. That kind of makes me think of the anime version of Steelix that he's currently consistently borrowing underground. The other one that might be it is the 4-legged legendary that is fire
Heatran.
Steel. Heatran, thank you. That's the other one that I can remember.
I can kind of see it because like tempered by heat, but like it's more like volcanic. You know what I mean? Like I don't Steelix doesn't. Or,
this is more
what's his name? I already forgot. Heatran doesn't come off as like hard tempered. You know, he's more magma.
No. Yeah, that's true.
Other one I could think of might be like Reggie Steel, but I don't
know. But it doesn't. He just lays around. He doesn't dig underground or anything.
That's what I thought too. Like he's a golem, and I feel like their creation would be different.
Yeah.
The only thing that it makes me not like Steelix is that metal is in the thing. Like it's harder than any metal, but Steelix is metal. Like it's covered in the metal coat.
Right. Exactly.
But like anything like Carbink or like anything else that I think of it being tempered underground, like nothing else comes to mind.
Remember, this comes from Brilliant Diamond.
Okay.
Steelix is
so Carbink.
Oh, you're right. I was like, I'm 99%.
That was where I was getting.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Steelix is in Brilliant Diamond, Claude.
Yeah, but you mentioned Carbink, and I'm like,
and Brilliant
Carbink
Diamond does have the underground. So thinking about what Pokemon you find in the underground.
That's true. I was thinking more Iron Island, where there's all Steelix there. Well, you want to go for it, and then if we miss it, we can just get another entry.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's your answer?
Steelix is it comes back to Steelix.
Mm-hmm.
Steelix is correct.
Yes, we were right. We were just doubting ourselves way too much.
You get your point back. So now you're 3 for 3.
Yeah, nice.
Woo.
First instincts.
Yep, I gotta trust them sometimes.
Okay. Up next is our multiple choice question. All right. This one comes from Polywo. What 3 trainer classes are in every mainline game?
Whoa. Okay. Bug catcher.
No, sure. Well, because I feel like in Black and White, maybe they were like, but they were something else. They were like bug enthusiast. You know what I mean? Like they changed a bunch of stuff in that game. So before we just jump on it, I want to be like, okay, bug catcher is good because I feel like that would be.
And you will get a point for each one you guess correctly.
Okay. This pressure's on.
Do you want?
But I will say though, because there's only 3, I will give you only 1 strike.
Okay.
Oh, man.
How about psychics?
Psychic is...
Are psychics on every game? Does gym leader count? No, because Alola.
Yeah.
Dang it!
Well, there's a gym in Alola, right? Don't you fight a gym?
But
No.
no.
There's one being built. I guess that didn't. Maybe that's Fever Dream.
It's in every. You fight a gym leader in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Yes.
But it needs to be in every single mainline game,
Right.
and there are only 3.
I kind of like Bugcatcher. Like, I feel like that's a pretty good...
Bugcatcher's the one that I seem is always, like, around.
Or at least...
That, maybe Fisherman.
Ooh, Fisherman's not bad. Fisher. Youngster.
The Mountaineer guys, although their names have changed.
They become
Mountain
hikers or
trekkers.
climbers, I think.
Hikers or climbers, yeah. So not that one. But Fisherman, the ones that come to mind that I think is Psychic, Fisherman, and Bugcatchers.
I like, yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think psychics are in every game. I think I don't think there's psychics in Paldea. Now that I think of it, it's been a while. I really need to like
I know.
buy. I have Skylight. I have Violet. I need to buy Scarlet just to go through it again.
Let's fire one off. What's our most confident one?
Let's fire one off.
You think Bugcatcher?
Bugcatcher or Fisherman? Which one you want to go with?
I think Fisher, honestly. Let's shoot with that one first.
Yeah, let's go with Fisherman.
All right,
the
going
first
with
one.
Fisher, because Fisherman is not a type, or not
Okay,
a trainer
Fisher,
class,
yeah.
but Fisher. All right, Fisher is incorrect. Fisher appears in Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black White 2, XY, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Stadium, and Stadium 2, but it's not in Scarlet and Violet.
Get out of here, Claude.
I am dead serious. And that is unfortunately a trend that happens a lot of the time, is things are in a lot of them, but not in Scarlet and Violet.
Oh my God, Scarlet! Okay, so we lost.
That is one strike.
We're taking the other 2
Okay,
strikes.
you-
by
you
the way.
have-
We're taking those strikes.
Oh.
What you want to say? Bugcatcher? I feel like
Let's
there's
at
a
least-
Bugcatcher
this is fun.
in Scarlet and Violet, wasn't there?
Yeah, let's try. Yeah, I think so. Let's try Bugcatcher now. We know we lost this question, but it's too fun to just.
No, you have it.
Bugcatcher.
Okay, so Bugcatcher is also incorrect. Bugcatcher stopped being in the game after Gen 4. They're not in Black and White. They're not in XY.
You know what? This is
They're
Nintendo's
not-
fault for not
changed it to
re-releasing
Bug
these games enough.
But I thought it was. They changed it to Bug Maniac. Dang it.
They changed it to Bug
Bug
Maniac.
Maniac, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, give it to us.
What do you feel about Lass?
I feel
You said
Lass is not. I think she's missing from a lot of
It's
games.
probably, yeah, because I think it's changed to like Schoolgirl and other things.
Lass
right.
is not in Violet and Scarlet Violet.
Because it's all the other students. God. Okay. Well.
Well,
All
give
right.
it to us. What are
So
the
the answers we were looking for
Use a
were
hint. We're smart.
Hiker, which you said.
No, it's not.
You
Which
had
one?
Hiker.
Hiker is not in.
Hiker is in every
No,
single
it's
game.
not. It's definitely
Yes, it
Climber
is.
or something else that it's changed to. It's definitely not. This is some.
So I'm going off of
Taurus.
going off of the Bulbapedia trainer class for Hiker, and it appears in all the Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen
All
3,
games?
Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7, Gen 8, Gen 9 games.
Quit. I'm
Man,
out.
we should have gone with Hank.
What you're thinking of, I think,
was the other
might be Mountaineer.
Mountaineer, yeah.
But that even then,
You're
that's
telling me that
that's
goofy
just a
dude that shows up in all
translation
my photographs is a hiker?
Yes.
In Alola?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yep, he is considered a hiker, and there actually is no climber.
All right,
so,
I'm from the
hiker-
universe where Whimsicott was grass flying and all of these other things. I'm from that universe still.
So
just saying.
the other two, If I told you your shorts are comfy and easy to wear.
Youngster, I thought was going to be in there too.
Youngster.
I couldn't think of Youngster.
I thought Youngster too, and I did not mention it because I thought that they no longer did Youngsters.
Me too.
Nope, Youngsters in every single game, and then the last one.
Oh my god!
Is Black Belt.
That one, I admit,
I probably wouldn't have got that either. That's fine. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that one. Yeah, I would have forgotten that one. I mean, I did forget that one completely. But the Youngster, I thought about it, but immediately, much like both of us said, I shut myself down in my brain because I'm like, nah, I think they stopped using Genster since like Gen 5 or something. But no.
And you asked about Gym Leader. Gym Leader is it doesn't appear in. Yeah, it didn't show up in Alola.
Yeah.
Was that trainer type? I think there was a trainer, but I think he was from under a different class than Gym Leader. But yeah, that is unfortunately
that was
you
a
don't
great
get
question though.
Quite points for that. I'm sorry. That was a tougher one.
Can we go back and use our hint on that one? Actually,
good one.
I forgot we had that.
I can give you the other question if you want, but probably not.
No.
All right, you can use your hint in the last one. All right, the last one is your base stat question.
Yeah, we'll need it.
This one comes from. Let's do this one. The Haunted Houndoom. What dark type has the highest special attack?
Dark type.
And your hint is it comes from Generation 6.
Generation 6.
Malamar?
So it could be a Mega.
What else is in Gen 6?
Mega.
Oh, it's
Gen 6.
It's probably a Mega.
Yeah. Ooh, Mega Houndoom. Does he have a high special attack?
That's kind of what I was thinking, and the question asker is also named Houndoom, so...
Yeah.
I will say the top 3 are all from Gen 6.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, I don't think it's...
Okay, so it's not...
What are the...
Most of them are physical.
Ooh.
So Weevil, Tyranitar, these are all physical attackers.
Mega
not
Gyarados
special attackers.
Is a Mega.
But he's a physical
like
guy, though.
Yeah.
He does have a decent special attack, but it's not his main stat.
I haven't used Megas in so long.
Think alternate forms.
Think
alternate forms.
Poopa Unbound.
Oh, Hoopa Unbound. Yep.
What other forms are there in Gen
Unbound.
6? Aegislash, but that's a ghost type.
Yeah. Banan, Ghost, and and that's physical.
What else? Pangoro's a dark type from Gen 6, but it's definitely not that.
No.
What else is...
in my mind, other than Hoopa Unchained, Mega Houndoom is the only one that comes to mind, because I think he has a higher special attack than a physical attack. Because every other dark that pops up in my brain is physical.
Yeah, I think it's...
Is Hoopa your final answer?
I think it's got to be Poopa.
It has to be Poopa, yeah.
Hoopa is correct. Hoopa Unbound has 170.
Whoa,
Number 2.
Oh, that's high.
Oh.
Number 2 is Ash Greninja.
Oh.
At 153.
I forgot that.
You would have got me if it was that, for sure. I forgot that was a Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then Mega Houndoom is 140.
Okay.
And then you have Darkrai and Chi-Yu at 135, rounding out the top 5.
Okay. Not
All
bad.
right. With that, you get 4 points. Woo!
Not bad. I mean,
I'll take it.
not bad.
Not bad. All right.
Good push.
Cool. All right. Well, all right. We will head on over to our topic. We will catch y'all in just a moment.
Hey, Thatch here. A lot of you have been asking how you can hang out with us during the week. Well, the best way to do so is come to our Discord server at puclpodcast.com. You can join our server and you can hang out with us, talk Pokemon, battle, do a bunch of cool things, join in our tournaments. So what's stopping you? Come on over, puclpodcast.com. You can jump right on in and have a good time talking with the hosts of the show, as well as the large community we've gathered over the years. So come on, let's hang out.
And we are back with our spooky, scary Pokemon.
Spooky.
All things ghost schools, scary stories from the Pokemon franchise, in-game, out-of-game. Tell me, what are some of your favorite parts of all of this?
The thing about Pokemon that I enjoy is its ability to adapt itself to any holiday. And I think there's no other holiday it does it better than Halloween. Mm-hmm. The scary portions of Pokemon are always so intriguing, mostly because they're mostly never explained, which is A1 in my, you're not supposed, when it's spooky things, they don't need an answer. That's what makes them spooky. And there's just so many great ghost or dark Pokemon that you can make a theme of. I mean, we all know here that there's two Pokemon. When you think of Halloween, you think of two Pokemon. Gengar and Puncaboo and its evolution, Gorgeist. Because they're so much fun. And almost every generation, I was talking with Clod before the episode, almost every generation has a great, spooky story to tell. With the exception, I feel like the latest generation. I think Scarlet and Violet, although it's definitely on my top 3 best games, Pokemon 1 gameplay-wise, please let's not talk about graphics or anything, just gameplay-wise. It's one of my top 3. It doesn't have a good spooky, it has a good sad story, but it doesn't have a good spooky story, which is unfortunate.
Scarlet and I can't think of any place like in the game itself where it's like, oh, this is the spooky area.
Right.
Normally you have like a haunted house or a haunted area, in like every other game that's like abandoned or something like that. But I don't know of that in Scarlet and Violet.
In Paldea, yeah, there's no spookiness.
And there weren't really any explorable locations that like gave you a creepy vibe either, you know?
Right. I was telling Claude that it would have been awesome in Scarlet and Violet if you go one into the forest and there's like a mansion there. And when you look through the window, you see like a person inside. You know, it's, there's someone I can talk to inside. But when you go in, it's empty. And then when you go out, it's still there. And you want to go in, it's empty. That'll be something. Only that, and just put a bunch of ghost Pokemon inside that mansion would have been enough for me to go like, this is awesome.
I guess the closest you get in Scarlet and Violet would be in the first DLC in Kitagami. You have that forest that is where you encounter Blood Moon Ursaluna.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I remember.
The fog rolls in, it becomes scary, you can't see everything.
That is true, I forgot about the DLC. That is true, they do have something.
But that's the closest it comes to it. But like, even like, that's not, it's like, it's rumored in myth. It's like, oh, you know, only at midnight does the, you know, Blood Moon Ursaluna come out from its chambers and terrorize the Pokemon of the forest. But that's, even then, like, that's a DLC. Like, when I think of, like, a scary location, my mind immediately goes to the strange house in, Unova. I believe it's in Black and White 2.
Yes.
Where it's, like, it's a house that's actively haunted by the ghost of a young girl.
Yes.
And, like, that's canon to the game. Like, you just have this random house that, you know, like, the girl, I think, appears on one of the bridges and then and then rearranges the furniture in the house as you go through it. But, like, letting you leave at any moment, but, like, things change all the time. Like, bookshelves move, and it talks about various different Pokemon, and the whole, you know, purpose that this house serves is, to give you access to the Lunar Wing, which is for Cresselia in Black and White. But, like, that's just creepy. Like, the fact that, you know, there's a house that's just there. And if you aren't paying attention, you can just skip right by it. But it's hidden in the thing. I think the same thing happens in Unova. In the middle of the swamp, there's that, like, ghost house is where my mind goes to. And I'm like, everything just feels, you know, creepy.
I love that in the world of Pokemon, most everything is centered around science and technology and, like, the Pokemon, yes, they're fantastic creatures, but they're like scientific and there's a reason they fit into Pokeballs, right? They have the ability to shrink down and it's all based and rooted in that world. Like it all works for a reason within the universe. But then there's also canonically ghosts. And I think that like
which is different from ghost type Pokemon. And they've always made that distinction.
Completely different from the fantasy and magic system, whatever it is that Pokemon are. Because like Pokemon follow certain rules, right? These are just ghosts that are just there that also exists and follow their own set of rules, have nothing to do with Pokemon. I think that is so cool. Like, just to have that as part of the world.
Not only that, but they do a great job with the music when they want to portray something creepy.
We cannot discuss about music and not talk about the Lavender Town theme, which is the origin, of course, of all of this, including the Lavender Tower.
Oh, 100%.
All the creepypastas, yeah.
Where you have that ghost Marowak. Yep.
Like, you can't not search it up and not get something about, oh, you know, that the Marowak is actually, you know, a lost Kangaskhan, or, you know, Blue's Marowak that he gets, or his Cubone is actually, you know, from that Marowak and he had to fight it, or, you know, random things, or, you know, Lavender Town was known as the place to go where Pokemon die. And, like, that is just creepy for that to be in the game. Like, and they have this, and it's, you know, you talk to any Pokemon fan that's played through the games and they'll tell you, oh, the Lavender Town music is by far one of the most recognizable.
100%. And the Lavender Town Tower.
And it sticks in your brain.
Let's just go back to that real quick. Super scary location when you first go there. The music is terrifying. You're only surrounded by graves. You have to fight your rival first thing, who asks, oh, are your Pokemon dead?
People with grief, when you get in there, everyone's talking about how I'm here because of my dear Growlithe who died and stuff like that. It's just, it sets you really in the mood.
Well, that's on the base level of the tower. Once you get up to the second level, all of the mediums or channelers or whatever their official term is now, they're possessed. All of them are possessed by their ghost Pokemon, and until you defeat them, do they snap out of it. And so they're all being like, they say things like, blood, I need blood, and like, you know, they're after you. Yeah, and they're all possessed by the ghosts until you defeat their Ghastlies, and they're free. And I think that is like, oh, it's creepy, you know?
Amazing.
100%. On the, like, I remember, you know, swapping scary stories about Lavender Town, you know, with, you know, friends on the playground, because that was the thing to do. The fun part is, when I look at some of the old, like the newer games, I say newer, but like, you know, games that came after that, they did things so differently. I'm not sure if you're familiar with N's bedroom from Black and White, where you had a glimpse into, you know, his psyche as a kid. And it's, you know, the entire, like, the music of that room is almost like an eerie music box, which is, you know, one itself. If you listen to any music box for long enough, it becomes creepy.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it's hard to find one that's not like that. And then you just see, like, scattered toys. And it's just like, this is the childhood of a villain. And it's really just something incredibly scary.
Well, in the bedroom is so out of place for the rest of the castle. It is just there. It pulls off that, like, you know, something is wrong here. Like, this does not belong here. And then you've got it kind of just lets you know, like, because you've known N is this weird kind of creepy dude this whole time. You're not sure what he's all about. And then you see this and you're like, well, this kind of gives me some answers as to why N is like a little messed up and different from the way that he is, because he didn't have a normal childhood. And yeah, like you said, with that music box and stuff playing, like it just leaves the mind to imagine, like, well, if this is what happened here in his bedroom, like what else happened to N, you know? And that's terrifying.
And that's the beautiful thing about many of these locations, not just the spooky stuff, but it's this environmental storytelling that Pokemon is able to do without having to explain anything to you. They don't have to tell you anything. You just go there, and by the environment, you know, something's weird, something's wrong. It's telling a story. And N's background is beautifully put in that bedroom where, like, oh, you don't have to tell me more. I get it. This guy has traumas. You know, and Gestis is a very terrifying villain. If all the teams of all the villains, that was Team Galaxy or Plasma? I forget. I get them confused sometimes. Plasma. Okay. So Team Plasma was always one of the scariest ones because it's the one that I feel it really makes you want to believe them, right? You want to root for them because hey, they're kind of going around saying, that we're kind of abusing Pokemon, and it's hard to argue when you're basically doing dogfights with Pokemon, right? And in the end, there's that twist that's they're not as good of a team as you thought they were. Their mission is not what they were saying. But that does add a level of realism in what villainy comes wrapped in, which is, it's wrapped in a beautiful idea, but then when you unwrap that gift, that's not what you get. And that's scary because you can't defend yourself against that sometimes. And Gen 5 did that theme in general very, very awesome.
Getsus was a terrifying politician in that because, like you said, the message he was saying wasn't wrong. Like we almost all agreed with the message. Pokemon are kind of treated as less than. But he didn't believe that himself. He was selling that message and using that to raise his own political stance, and not unlike several politicians today. But that's what's scary about it, is it's super real, and you can see that later in the game is all I had to do was get these people to believe this message, and then once everybody is rid of their Pokemon, now I'm the most powerful person here. And it's there's several different ways to draw that into real life with, several, other different things that you can correlate to, not necessarily Pokemon, of course, but, that stuff is real too, and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's some stuff correlates to the real world. Some stuff, is just spooky, but, some themes like that one in particular, Black and White.
I mean, that High Dragon had a full blast frustration on it, right? So Gestas was abusing his Pokemon. He was a Pokemon abuser as well. Even though he was the one saying no, I'm the one that's going to save all Pokemon. He was an abuser. And that's terrifying. And that people believed his message, right? It's just, overall, Pokemon has always made a great job in telling these stories with minimum effort, because it's not like we know Pokemon for its amazing story, right? All the time, even though it has great story. But it's very minimalism, the word I'm trying to say. And that is, to me, what makes it special. You don't have to give us too many dialogues. You just need to show us. And they do a great job at that. We haven't even talked about the X and Y girl.
Oh, yes. X and Y girl.
Yeah, the one that comes of in the...
Trying to find it in my notes.
Wait, was it X and Y or was Black?
No, it was X and Y.
It was Pokemon Black and White.
I know it's X and Y.
It was X and Y, yeah, the one that comes in and says, "You are not the one," or something like that.
Yes, that's the Hex Maniac that's in,
Mumio City at the Fighting Dojo.
Yeah, that's it. Well, if we want to talk about, creepy lines of text that are there, in Diamond and Pearl and Gen 4, there's a house on Route 217 that's in the middle of the snow area, that if you go in, there's a woman there who gives you the spell tag. And the quote is literally, "A person, a rare sight. Thank you for visiting. A gift." And then if you leave and come back, they're gone. And if you talk to one of the ace trainers that's on the route, it basically implies that person was a ghost. The entire time. Which is...
Love it.
And then going back to the strange house and, the ghost girl that's there, you encounter her on the bridge, and it's an everlasting dark dream, an endless dream of darkness. Dad, Mom, Abra, where are you?
Oof. Oh my God. Chills.
And then in the second time you encounter her, it's, "In the dark dream, I hear my dad's voice. Forget about the lunar wing. Please stay here with me." And the final encounter is, "Oh, the lunar wing, I can't take it now. But it will be okay. Please return the wing to the Pokemon. I was waiting on the bridge so I can return it myself." And then it disappears. That just tells of someone who was haunted by Darkrai, died, and then was almost saved by Cresselia.
And she couldn't make it, but she was there still trying to fulfill that mission.
I do have to share this other thing that I found. In Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, in the Elite Four Phoebe room, there's a ghost girl, like just hiding in the room in 2 of the shots. There's one that's right behind your character, like when you see it. And then when the screen fades away, like there's a little ghost girl in the background.
You're right. I never noticed that.
And it is creepy. It's like, why are you haunting Phoebe?
That's great.
And this type of thing is just there in the game.
I mean, I can give you reasons, but yes.
But it's just wild. Like, you know, they throw so many of these like haunted little myths and like tidbits out there into the game. It is, you know, it's so cool. I love it when Pokemon does little things like that just reappear and just retell, you know, different stories.
You know what's what would have been now let's I want to talk a little bit about what a great story they could tell that maybe not related to ghosts but still scary. I would love you visiting a Area 51 style abandoned place where with BHMs and all the alien looking Pokemon around. And seeing how like, oh, this was like a research facility for aliens and one escaped or something like that. Kind of like Cinnabar Island, but not Mewtwo, you know, more related to extraterrestrial. I think BHM and I forgot the other one's name, are Pokemon with such great potential to be scary Pokemon in a story. And maybe I'm saying this because of Horizon, and I think BM in Horizon was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, they have the opportunity, again, because Pokemon is such a malleable franchise that they can just do whatever stories they want, and that's part of what makes Pokemon so magical.
Well, I mean, if we want to look at the anime as well, like, jump into that. Like, they have so many different ghosts showing up and just being a part of it. As we mentioned, Lavender Tower. In Pokemon Origins and in Pokemon Origins, you have Red going, you know, having a whole episode with, like, at the Lavender Tower, you know, with the whole the Sylph Scope. And then, you know, it's like, oh, like, there's a woman, you know, that apparently was, like, had his hand on his shoulder. When he goes to look, she's just gone. Just implying that ghosts are around. And then in, Pokemon Journeys, there was a whole thing with, a Raichu in the forest, like, and a girl named Sandy. And, you know, they interact, they play together with Ash, or they interact, and then Ash finds her parents only to find out that she was never there and was actually dead has been dead for years. It's like creepy things like that where it's like, oh, the ghost is around, and they acknowledge it and they make it a forefront for, you know, different things, which I think is so cool. I wish they did more stuff like this.
Not to mention that in the original series, Ash dies on the Lavender Town episode.
Ash dies a total of 6 times in the anime, okay? I literally just looked this up because we're talking about it, but yeah, 6 times across his tenure as the frontman.
Ash Dragon Ball has nothing on Ash. Ash can come back from the dead so many times.
Froze to death in outer space. He drowned. Saved Victini. I don't know that is specifically. Yeah, I got turned to stone in Mewtwo. There's another time in the show there he died. There was the time in that is it the Power of Us, or it might be the other one that was of that style. But when Pikachu talks, Ash dies then, and then Pikachu talks, and whatever. Anyway, that was a weird movie.
That was a weird scene.
If we want to talk about scary things in Pokemon, the HD remastered version of the Pokemon, the first movie, I don't know if you guys ever saw that on Netflix, where that is terrifying.
Yep. Yes, it was.
I mean, you want to talk about terrifying? Look at Detective Pikachu, Mr. Mime.
Oh my god, yes.
My favorite part about that is if you look closely, like, his shoulders are just red kickballs. Like, they're just red kickballs. Like, you could see the texture of the kickball, and I'm pretty sure, like, you could probably see the air valve in one. But I don't know. I love that they used some real things for those Pokemon. They use mostly special. I could talk about Detective Pikachu for a while.
So the only other thing that I think it would be a disservice if we didn't talk about it, though, would be creepy Pokedex entries. Because you can't talk about scary stuff and not talk about, all the absurd Pokedex entries, everything from Drifloon taking children away.
Hypno taking children away?
Same type of thing. I mean, I look at Frostlass, who was formed when a spirit and lingering regrets of a lost woman who died in the snowy mountains possessed an icicle. How does that come from a snow runt? Like, it's things like that just, are incredibly creepy. One of my favorites, though, comes from Sliggoo. According to its Pokedex entry in Pokemon Sun, it has trouble drawing a line between friends and food. It will calmly try to melt and eat, even those it gets along with. The lump on its back holds its tiny brain and other organs. But, like, it doesn't have a good line between, all of that. It'll just eat people, whether they're friends or not. I'm like, that's creepy.
Side note, I also love how the Pokedex takes, like, those little digs at Pokemon sometimes. Like, it's tiny brain. Like, this idiot can't tell friend from foe. Its tiny brain lives in its, like, dang, Pokedex, chill. Sliggoo is trying his best, okay?
Like, and there's so much mind control that happens, like, like throughout Pokemon. You think Hypno. You think Malamar, who they directly state has mind controlled its victims and has played a role in history-changing events. And, like, they made it very apparent in the anime about Malamar, taking over.
Yeah, he's super evil.
I love Malamar in the anime.
It's in its name.
You think of Sandygast and Palossand, who takes control of anyone who puts their hand in its mouth. Like, that's just insanely creepy. And then you think of, like, half the ghosts that are just ghosts because, something else died and then it got possessed. Or there was a strong attachment to, like, an object and, it was abandoned. And next thing you know, it's now a Banette or something creepy like that. I'm like, just gives me shakes and chills just thinking about it.
My favorite creepy Pokedex entries are the ones for Pokemon that you don't expect. Like, despite its appearance, it has an aggressive nature. It attacks by jabbing with its long, thin mouth, and drains its prey of its bodily fluids. That's Beautifly.
That's great. That's actually wonderful.
Like, it's your cute little butterfly. No. It's aggressive. It will drain you of your fluids.
No, it's not. Yeah. Or Mimikyu, that no one has seen what he actually looks like. And if you dare see under that disguise, you'll die.
No, you just die.
You just die. There's no other. No, you just die.
Although one of my favorite is Hatchram. The moment this Pokemon finds someone who's emitting strong emotions, it will pummel them senseless until it braids that with its braids to silence them.
Like,
if you show any emotion, it's nope, we're gonna beat you up until you stop.
She dumped you 10 days ago, bro. Get over it. Like,
I'll give you something to cry about.
oh man, that's
Hatran being every boomer parent.
Don't look up Gorobus's either, where it's like, although Gorobus is the very picture of elegance and beauty while swimming, it is also cruel. When it spots prey, this Pokemon inserts its tiny mouth into the prey's body and drains its prey of its bodily fluids.
They sure look those bodily fluids.
The draining fluids and long, thin mouths.
This is Gorobus.
I mean, if we keep going, we can keep going all day on creepy but amazing Pokedex entries.
Oh, yeah. Like, this can go on for... there are so many that are just like, torment, scared, it's,
But it's what, like, we started this topic session saying, it's like, the beautiful thing about Pokemon is that because of how malleable this franchise is, it sets itself great for any holiday, but Halloween is just the best that it does. Like, sure, we have Christmas Pokemon and Hanukkah Pokemon and we, although, we have Valentine's Day Pokemon, but none of as intriguing, fun, and scary as all the Halloween Pokemon. And, it's my favorite. My favorite holiday. It's my favorite type of Pokemon.
What's the scariest Pokemon you guys think?
In what context? Like to run into in a dark alley by yourself alone at night? Or we talking like, that I don't want to see behind a door?
Yeah, the scariest one.
I think the scariest one that I would freak out if I enter a house and see it is, I think, Bonnet. Because nothing scares me most than ghost children and listening to the voices of laughter of children in a location. Laughters and children singing song, beautiful in a schoolyard. Not great on a dark mansion when you're all alone at night. And I think Bonnet being the lost doll of children and that its soul, it's inside. It's like seeing Chucky. You go in, you see Bonnet just sitting there in a chair in the middle of the living room. You're like, oh, this is where I die.
Bonnet's good. I was thinking Darkrai because of his scary long legs.
Those are scary long legs. Where does those legs come from?
That. And here I am thinking like Oricorio Sensu, because it's supposed to dance to call forth the spirits of the dead. And now I'm like, all right, I don't want to be surrounded by that at all, in any way, shape, and form. All right. But I think this is a great place to stop for the topic today. We will be right back with our Pokemon of the episode.
Catch you on the flip-flop.
The episode.
And we are back with our Pokemon of the episode. It is number 687, Malamar, the overturning Pokemon.
I'm going to combine some, but it's Alpha Sapphire and Ultramoon entries read, it lures its prey close with hypnotic motions, then wraps its tentacles around before finishing it off with digestive fluids.
No.
It flashes the pattern on its torso to control its prey and draw them in. The edges of its fins are supremely sharp.
Terrifying.
Malamar is just one of those really creepy Pokemon that, standing at almost 5 feet tall. I think that was at the same height as a little bit taller than Nidoking, funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's terrifying. And it has so much lore behind it being evil and, just terrifying to begin with. But you can use it. It's the only Pokemon that, you have to turn your game upside down to evolve.
Right. Which is genius.
It's awesome. I'm not sure how they know that's what's happening, but, that's cool.
Right. What do they do if Pokemon was in the real world? They would take an Inky and just spin it around until it evolves? Let all the blood goes into its brain?
I have no idea. Probably. I know for a fact that in the TCG, Malamar has dominated several formats that it was around in. Everything from, I don't know anything, but I know it's very, very good. It used to be very good. Getting psychic energy on your Pokemon.
Yep.
And
now I remember on the anime when Malamar appeared in the first episode where he was hypnotizing an Officer Jenny to pose as Madame X, and they were fighting this surprise Madame X. Who is this scary Madame X with a Malamar? And then ended up being the mastermind was the Malamar. Madame X was just a Jenny that he had hypnotized to do his bidding.
That's so cool.
Terrifying stuff.
Yeah.
It's such a great Pokemon to have this type of background to it, right? It is a Pokemon of villainy. It's just it's in its name, like we said in a topic. It's Malamar, right? It's it's evil by nature.
Malice, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, malice.
You can get Malamar in the Blueberry Academy. I think you can get Inkay there. Otherwise, it might just be in the Terrastar raids that Malamar exists. But you can get it, and if you want to use it, at least as far as singles ZU, the best options you have are take advantage of its ability Contrary, which turns all negative stat boosts or reverses all stat boosts pretty much. So something like Superpower that lowers your attack and defense will actually give you a +1 in attack and defense afterwards, which lets it build up power and get more and more powerful. Usually you can pick any bunch of different Terra types anything from stellar to fairy to fighting to electric that are all very useful, but usually it's like a superpower, a knockoff, and then you can either go rest, sleep talk, or if you want, you can go with like Psycho Cut, and there's a bunch of other fun things it can do, and it has, okay stats. It's nothing special, but it is still on there. I don't know if it's used in VGC at all. Let me take a quick look. Is there anything for Malamar in VGC? I believe someone's used it. I just don't have enough information on that, actually. I think we're in Regulation H right now, right?
You're asking the two people that do not know.
Great. Because I'm seeing it has some usage, not very much, but, some. And, it's more of a knockoff, superpower, protect, trick room type thing. It also gets skill swap and topsy-turvy. Topsy-turvy. What does topsy-turvy do? It's the only Pokemon that knows it. Or one of them, I think. Inverts the target's stat changes.
All right, topsy-turvy. Yep.
Ooh. So I can see that being useful to switch things in and out.
Yeah.
If you want to use it in VGC, usually they run Adamant with a lot of HP and a lot of attack, and maybe some special defense, depending on if you're running, an assault vest, safety goggles,
special attack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not meant to be used for special attack. It's meant, to hit hard with superpower and knockoff, and then after that you have your choice of. Protect, Trick Room, Topsy-Turvy, Skill Swap if you want to run those shenanigans, Taunt, a Psycho Cut, a Liquidation even can work. But it can be used, and I know there are some people in videos I'm seeing now that do have Malamar being used. So that's always fun. Yeah. It gets Switcheroo, which is cool, I guess, if you want to trick an item to something. But that's all I got for Malamar. What do y'all think?
I think Malamar is a fantastic lore Pokemon. I don't know how good he is in competitive, but lore-wise, he's up there, man.
Yeah, I would agree. All right.
Yeah, it's cracking.
Yeah.
Great. Then we'll cut that here, and we'll be back with our mailbag.
It's mail time! It's time for the mailbag! Send in your emails!
And we are back with our mailbag section. As always, the mailbag is sponsored by Green Toros, the fictional energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves!
There we go. Great. This week we have 2 emails. The first one's coming from Thomas O'Brien. Our last, I believe our last question was about remembering Kalos and reimagining it and remembering all the different good parts of X and Y. So this first one was from Thomas O'Brien. Good morning, Puckle people. Pokemon X and Y were my reintroduction to the franchise. Up until this point, I really only played Pokemon Blue and a bit of Pokemon Sapphire. Going from those games to the 3DS models felt amazing. I never liked how I had to look at my Pokemon's back sprites for the entire game after catching them. I like seeing the entire design. Not only did the Pokemon look great, but the world itself felt much more engaging. I had a blast trying out all the new skating tricks you could do, getting to ride Pokemon for the first time, and racking up Pokédollars in the Battle Chateau. Of course, any good Kalos retrospective is incomplete without talking about Mega Evolutions. This was, and still is, such a cool mechanic. It breathed new life into a lot of our favorite Pokemon. I'm pretty sure seeing Mega Blastoise is one of the main reasons I decided to get Pokemon X. As far as the designs go, I always felt Pokemon X had the better Mega Evolutions. Mega Charizard X and Mega Mewtwo X looked way cooler than their Y counterparts. I disagree, but that's just my personal thing. But anyways, they may not be as good competitively, but I don't care about that. It's a toss-up between Mega Blastoise and Mega Diancie for my favorites. I remember hearing people online complain about the EXP share and how it made the game so easy. Quite honestly, I've always liked the way it was implemented to the game starting in Gen 6. I can't tell you how much I hated grinding out experience points for each individual Pokemon in previous games. There are plenty of other ways to make games more challenging if that's what you want. Even though I did play Gen 3 some, I played Gen 1 a lot more often before playing Gen 6. As a result, I was essentially introduced to 3 brand new types with Steel, Dark, and Fairy. Since I was new to the series up to this point, I wasn't fully aware of the different type interactions. I knew Fairy was super effective against Dragon, but not necessarily that Fairy was weak to Poison. You can imagine my confusion when my Xerneas kept getting knocked out by Dragalge in the Elite Four. Pokemon X and Y will always be some of my favorite games in the series. They marked my reintroduction into the series and made me a full-blown enthusiast of the whole franchise, not just Gen 1. I think the thing that cemented that for me was going to GameStop to get Diancie and Mega Gengar codes. Oh, I remember that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
I also did multiple playthroughs in order to get all the starters and the roaming legendary birds since I was in college at the time and had a lot more free time to do that. All this talk about Kalos made me want to break out my 3DS and start playing the games again. I would love to see my favorite Pokemon Greninja come back in games for which it was created. With how much of an impact Kalos had on me, I'm especially glad that Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Home have allowed me to have some of the exact same Pokemon from my first playthrough of Pokemon X that helps me have a stronger connection to the series. As always, keep up the good work, Thomas O'Brien.
Thank you, Thomas.
Well, thank you very much, Thomas. Up next, we have Gigasaurus Games.
Now I'll take over. Hello, PoGo crew. As much fun as the last episode was to listen to, I felt compelled to write in to talk about the biggest part of the Gen 6 era that was missed. The absolutely phenomenal 3 seasons of the anime from XY to XYC. I hard agree. That, I think, was the season that revitalized, this is me talking to Shiro, sorry, I paused. That was the series that brought me back to the anime.
I agree with you entirely on that. I remember I took a break for...
Yeah, because I really lost track after the Orange Islands, I think it was. Maybe I saw a bit of Johto, and then I'm like, no, I don't care. And then X and Y came out, and I'm like, oh my god, this actually has a decent story to it. And I love that version of Ash, which was more serious, more competent than the goofy version. I enjoyed that version of Ash so much more. Anyway, I'm sorry. I went on a tangent.
My only problem with that anime, as a side note, was that it was so incredibly repetitive. Every episode was, oh, we're gonna do this thing. Oh, Team Rocket shows up. Oh, we beat Team Rocket. Oh, we fixed the thing. Let's move on. And that's my only issue, is it was a wash, rinse, repeat every single episode.
Horizon is still better, but X and Y is right up there in X, Y, and Z. Anyway, continue on with the email. The email opens by leaning into the Gen 1 nostalgia that was the hallmark of Gen 6 by remixing the original opening and the end with some of the best battles of the entire 20-year run of the series. From the opening battle scenes between Ash and Clement and its callback at the beginning of their gym battle to the remarkable character writing of Bonnie compared to her predecessor, Max, to the animation of Ash Grinja in battle. Every beat of the XY anime was wonderful. As someone who missed most of Gen 6 the first time and around because I fell off a bit after Gen 5, the anime is easily the part that I am most happy to have gone back and discovered. Hard agree. As the games themselves, I finally played Pokemon X recently, and my takeaway was that it was fine. While it was a lot of fun having early access to cool Pokemon like Tyrum and Tyrantrum and Honedge, which evolves into something that is definitely pronounced AG/ because of Latin, the movement of the Pokemon of the character using the most natural button combination, that is the joystick instead of the rollerblades, felt absolutely awful. When I played Auras and I didn't need to deal with the roller skates, I liked the gameplay much better. Though I also think Auras is probably my favorite Pokemon game that I have played. That is an opinion. I'm sorry, I'm a famous Gen 3 hater. I love Gen 3, but it's my least favorite. I am quite interested to see what happens CA on Legend CA will be bringing to the table, since so much of Gen 6 was never flushed out in the game stores, such as Volcanion and Zygarde, though Zygarde at least got an amazing anime arc. I would somewhat be surprised if they introduced no new Mega Evolutions to the game, given how integral it was to the original games and how calculated the Mega symbol on the trailer was timed to build hype. Yeah, I'm sure, like have different region versions for Legends Arceus, they're gonna have new different megas, like back in the past they had these megas that no longer exist, much like some of the Pokemon that we had from Legends Arceus.
You guys think we're going to get regional megas?
I don't think we'll get regional megas. I think we'll get new megas.
I think we'll get new megas, but somebody brought that up to me is like, what if we get like a regional mega? Like Mega Alolan Ninetales. You know, I don't know. It could be something. I was thinking like, whatever they call Kalos, if it's going to be Kalos or if it's going to be Calusi or whatever, you know.
You know, I agree with you there, yeah. That would be freaking awesome. Mega Alolan Ninetales. I do hope they don't water down any of the existing ones like Mega Charizard X watered down Mega Charizard Y. All of these years later, I'm still disappointed that the original trailer release of Mega Charizard Y as what looked like the original Dunsparce joke was defeated by an addition of an actual Dragon-type Charizard. That is true. Thank you all for putting together such an enjoyable content every week, and I hope everyone has a great week. So do we to you, Gigasaurus Games. I vote here for Gigasaurus Games to have the badge.
I already have it.
Yeah. Well, I'm almost positive he already has it.
Okay.
But either way, I think that's a great place to put things then in for now. So if you want to write in and have a chance at winning the Green Tauros badge, only a couple months left for the year to get it, tell us your favorite spooky, scary thing about Pokemon. It could be anything from your favorite ghost type to your favorite creepy pasta that you have to, you know, what locations always creeped you out in the games. I remember to send that to, what's it, the puclpodcast?
No, it's just puclpodcast@gmail.com.
Or, no, it's just puclpodcast.
Twitch, yeah.
I can never remember. I think it's the puclpodcast on Twitch, but otherwise we're puclpodcast on all the other socials. And with that, we want to thank you guys for joining us today and being here with us. I have been Clod9.
Some say I'm Jashiro.
And I'm Bocephus. Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween!
And we will catch you on the flip-flop.
It's closing time in Lavender Town. Time to say our goodbyes. It's closing time. Farewell, my friends. I'll catch you on the flip side.